Welcome to my latest case, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. To start, choose Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, click on Tutorial. Dear Hannah, here I am at the railroad station along with a handful of other detectives about to board a train bound for who knows where. The only person who knows where we're going is Lori Girard. That's the young woman who invited everyone. Actually, she didn't really invite me. She invited Frank and Joe Hardy, and they invited me. And I've always wanted to join forces with the Hardy Boys. I just hope this doesn't turn out to be another one of Lori's silly attempts to grab publicity. Some people can be a little too rich and a little too famous for their own good.
All aboard!
Wish me luck. Love, Nancy.
Well, people, now that our little orientation tour is over, let's get started. Okay, I, again, am Lori Girard, and the first thing I want to do is thank you all for coming. John Gray, I am so thrilled that you're taking time out from that TV show of yours to do some ghost hunting here with us. I mean, Ghost Chasers is like the best cable show ever. And Charlena Purcell, I cannot tell you how much I adore those romance novels you write. Your characters just seem so real. And all that stuff you know about the Old West, you are just awesome. And Tino Balducci, only the most famous police detective in the country. And then there's Frank and Joe Hardy. They're amateur detectives. My dad and their dad are old friends. And you must be the other amateur detective, their friend, Natalie?
Nancy Drew?
Whatever. All right, I'll bet you're wondering where we're going. Well, we're going to Copper Gorge, Colorado. Why? To solve the mystery of what happened to Jake Hurley, the man who originally owned this train. Because see, one day in 1903, this train was found in a place called Blue Moon Canyon, which was out in the middle of the Nevada desert. Only the engineer was on board, and he was dead. As for Jake Hurley, he had disappeared from the face of the earth. Oh, and two more things. Before he disappeared, Jake was rumored to have found the richest gold mine in the world. And the train he owned, this train, his wife Camille died on it while they were going to the gold fields. It was rumored to be haunted.
She's gone.
Oh my gosh.
What in the world?
Hey, what's going on?
People should never go tampering with things they don't understand.
Oh, brother.
It's okay. Everybody just stay calm. No need to panic. I'll get to the bottom of this.
Well, Nancy, you're up on all that social etiquette stuff. What are you supposed to do when your hostess vanishes into thin air?
If I don't seem concerned, it's because I'm not. Lori Girard is a young woman whose only goal in life is to be famous. She craves attention and habitually uses her father's considerable wealth to get it.
So you think her disappearing like that is just some kind of publicity stunt?
I just think she couldn't resist showing off in front of all of us minor celebrities. What was your name again?
Nancy Drew. You and I have actually met. Sort of. I called you not too long ago when I was at Shadow Ranch. You gave me some information about Dirk Valentine.
Ah, Nancy Drew.
You remember me?
No.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley?
Psst, Nancy! Come here!
Excuse me for a second.
Hey, Nance.
Where have you two been?
I followed Tino Balducci.
And I went after John Gray. He went straight to the room in the car that used to be Camille's and didn't come out again. I could hear all these weird noises coming from inside.
Did you talk to him?
I was just about to go in, but the next thing I know, Joe's got my arm in a vice grip and is dragging me back here, babbling about how Balducci's our guy.
He found something on the floor right where Lori was standing when the train went dark. I saw him pick it up and put it in his pocket. Then he left.
Did you see what it was?
When I tried to talk to him, he just kind of brushed me aside and said something snotty like, "I'm on the job here, Junior, so just go back to the playground and stay out of the way." In case you two hadn't noticed, we're not getting a lot of respect around here. Can't we at least tell Balducci that we do stuff for ATAC?
You know the rules.
ATAC?
American Teens Against Crime. We do a lot of undercover work for them.
Wonder Cop's probably never even been undercover.
Joe, let it go. What'd Charlena have to say?
She thinks Lori is faking this whole disappearance thing.
She's not the only one.
How can you say that? You heard Lori scream.
Anybody can scream, Joe. Especially girls whose fathers have given them acting lessons along with everything else they've ever wanted.
What about you, Nancy? What do you think?
I kind of agree with Frank.
You've got to be kidding.
Do you think maybe one of Lori's other guests is in on her disappearance?
It's certainly possible.
From the way she talked, it didn't sound like she knew any of them.
Maybe that's what she wanted us to think.
Or maybe that's what one of them wanted her to think.
Well, whether Lori disappeared by force or by choice, what we've got to do now is find her.
Absolutely.
Has anyone talked to the engineer?
Not that I know of.
Then I'm going to head up front and tell him what's happened. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Good idea. In the meantime, we'll take another look around in here.
Great. Catch you later.
Engineer, what do you want?
Hello, I'm one of the passengers, and I just thought you should know that Lori Girard has disappeared.
So?
I just thought you might want to call the police or something.
Hey, all I know is I take orders from Miss Girard, okay? Right now my orders are to get this train to Copper Gorge non-stop. And until Miss Girard tells me otherwise, that's what I'm gonna do.
But Lori may not even be on the train anymore.
Look, Miss Girard may not be a rocket scientist or anything, but even she knows better than to jump off a moving train.
But...
Now, if you'll excuse me, I got me a train to run.
This must have been the sleeping car. I need 4 numbers to unlock this, and there's, what, 10,000 possible combinations? Guessing could take me a while.
Hi, you're that Nancy person. How you doing? John Gray.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I've seen your TV show.
Then I don't have to explain what I'm doing.
Oh, heck no. Why, you're measuring the who's-whatsism with your trusty gizmometrometer thing.
Right now I'm taking time-lapse electromagnetic readings and recording background noise. This was Camille's private car. If she had something to do with Lori's disappearance, analyzing these readings may give me a clue as to Lori's whereabouts.
Are you saying that Camille's ghost kidnapped Lori?
What to most people are ghosts are actually temporary distortions in local electromagnetic fields caused by the presence of residual psychic energy generated by the person or persons who frequented that particular locale. That's my working theory, at least.
That's very interesting.
It's all very scientific. But the fact is, Lori's missing, and I, for one, am doing everything in my power to find her. The vibes I'm getting make me think she could be in serious trouble.
Charlena Purcell thinks Lori is just playing some kind of joke on us.
Charlena Purcell writes romance novels. End of comment.
What do you think of Tino Balducci?
I kind of feel sorry for the guy. After catching those bank robbers, he can't just be a good cop anymore. He's got to be a great cop. Tough to perform under that kind of pressure.
Is Lori a friend of yours?
First time I met her was when I boarded this train with all the rest of you. I knew her by reputation, of course, like everyone else who reads the tabloids. It doesn't appear that anyone aboard this train is her friend.
Maybe she planned it that way.
You mean so we'd concentrate all our efforts on finding Jake Hurley? Possible, although she really doesn't strike me as being the planning type.
I won't keep you any longer.
Take care.
This looks like some sort of game. Nothing happens. I'll bet I have to wind it up first. Oops. I did it! Wonder what's in here. If I had some music, I could play a tune.
Don't do that, please! Those microphones I set up over there are very sensitive. You just about took out my eardrums. You can play that thing when I'm done. I'll let you know when that is, all right?
Okay. The Little Book of Samplers. I wonder what's under here, and what the deal is with those weird-looking bolts. Looks like some kind of sewing sampler. I wonder if there's a relationship between those symbols and those numbers. Looks like Camille was teaching herself how to play the piano. Thomasina O'Neill. Hello?
Nancy, hi, it's me.
Hi, Bess.
And me.
Hey, George, what's up?
What's up? You're the one who's on the train with a bunch of famous people. You tell us. This is torture, Nancy. I'm dying of curiosity here.
Bess, just calm down.
Oh, like you're not just as curious as I am. She's the one who insisted we call you Nancy.
Only because you're driving me crazy. I'm supposed to be helping her paint her room, but every other brushstroke she's like, where do you think she is now? How do you think the Hardy Boys are doing? Why do you think she hasn't called? What do you think Laurie Girard is wearing?
Oh, George, that is so not true. I could care less what Laurie Girard is wearing. So come on, Nancy. You're on a train full of famous people bound for who knows where. So dish already, would ya?
Bess, calm down. Look what you did. You got paint in my hair.
I'm sorry. You know, actually, that looks kind of cool.
Nice try, Bess.
No, really.
You're just saying that because you're afraid I'll bail and you'll wind up having to paint this dump all by yourself.
George, I kid you not. You should seriously think about doing some major highlights in that color.
What color is it?
Adobe beige.
Nice try, Bess.
What's going on, Nan?
Our hostess has disappeared.
What do you mean, disappeared?
I mean, the train went into a tunnel, everything went dark, and when the train came out of the tunnel, no Laurie. She just disappeared.
Publicity stunt.
My thoughts exactly.
Remember the time she was allegedly kidnapped from her Vegas hotel room?
Yeah, the guy across the hall just happened to have a camera and got it all on tape.
It made the evening news in practically every city in the country. And then there was her daring escape the next morning.
Only it turns out she faked the whole thing.
Of course, she claims her ex-boyfriend faked it to get back at her. She thought she was really being kidnapped.
Like anybody believes that.
Sounds to me like somebody has been spending a lot of time reading the tabloids.
George has.
Very funny. So what else is going on?
Before she disappeared, Laurie told us that the purpose of this train trip is to find out what happened to Jake Hurley, the train's original owner.
Was he murdered or something?
No one knows. He was married to a woman named Camille, but she died, and he eventually vanished while mining for gold. His train was found abandoned in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada, with no one on board but his dead engineer.
Whoa, spooky.
Have any theories?
My first order of business is to find out what happened to Laurie.
So first Hurley's wife dies, then Hurley vanishes, then the engineer dies, then Laurie vanishes. A pattern, maybe?
Bess, do us all a favor and leave the detective work to Nancy, okay?
Has either of you been to Copper Gorge, Colorado?
Never heard of the place. Why?
Well, that's where the train I'm on is headed. Apparently Jake Hurley buried his wife Camille there after she died on the train.
She died on the train? Ew, creepy.
John Gray has set up a bunch of equipment in Camille's train car in hopes of documenting distortions in the electromagnetic field caused by her residual energy.
Say what?
He's looking for Camille's ghost. Don't you ever watch him on TV?
Just because I watch him doesn't mean I understand him.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Well, George, back to work.
Hey, Nancy, right?
That's right, Nancy Drew.
Amateur detective, huh? Ever thought about becoming a real detective? You know, like me?
You mean become a police detective? No, I never have.
It's a great job, you know. I love it. You, heard about those bank robberies I solved, right?
Yes, I sure did.
Baffling case. Two-man team at 17 banks in 3 states in 5 days? FBI had no idea who the perps were. But after forcing their vehicle to a stop, confronting them, despite the fact that they were armed and giving chase, I single-handedly made the collar.
I heard they stopped because you accidentally rear-ended them.
You heard wrong. You see, Nancy, when somebody does something really remarkable in this country, the first thing everybody else does is try to tear them down. Reporters, late-night comedians, even some of my fellow officers. All have been spreading vicious lies about me. Why? Because they've never done anything remarkable in their sorry little lives, and they're jealous. Anyway, you should look around in here. Lots of interesting stuff. This was Jake's private car, you know.
I understand that you found something on the floor in the dining car.
Yeah, at first I thought it was an old coin, but it turned out to be some kind of slug.
Where do you think it came from?
Probably been lying there for 100 years. May have served a purpose back then, but now, worthless.
May I see it?
Sure. In fact, here, keep it. Wear it around your neck or something. That way, when people ask you where you got it, you can tell them Tino Balducci gave it to you. The Tino Balducci.
Oh, thank you.
What else can I do for you?
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Don't mention it.
Looks like an old-fashioned cigar box. Wonder why it's locked. And what does AG mean? Camille with Hager Anderson and Chantilly Hildegard. Eliza Sandberger. An old scale. Strange. It seems to be built into the wall. Those symbols look like the ones I saw in that sampler. It's locked. Looks like to make this thing, whatever it is, I'm going to need a spyglass, a pickaxe, and a lamp. Citrine, amethyst, zircon, those are all gemstones, I think. Silver. What do all those colors have to do with silver?
gosh, I never thought you'd be the one to find me. No offense. Nadine?
Nancy Drew.
Well, as you can see, I wasn't really spirited away by ghosts or anything. That bookshelf in the dining car, you step on this thing in the floor in there, and it slides open. I practiced disappearing for weeks.
So it was just all for show?
Well, not entirely. See, here's the deal. My dad wound up with this train when he bought out Noram Shipping. They'd been storing it in this old warehouse outside St. Louis for so long that everybody had just forgotten about it. Anyway, after mass begging on my part, Dad had the train restored to working condition and got me an engineer and track permits and all that other stuff until finally, here we are, on our way to find out what happened to Jake Hurley.
I think you were going to explain why you kidnapped yourself.
Oh, right. Well, see, I was one of the first people in 100 years to set foot on this train, okay? Everything was just the way it was when Jake disappeared. Except, I also found this. It's a letter that Jake wrote in 1901 to his niece back east. He was real paranoid about claim jumpers, which is why he never told anyone where his mine was. But he was also afraid something would happen to him and no one would ever know where it was. So he wrote this letter to his only living relative, Ruth Kensington. Here, take it.
You want me to have it? Why?
Because you found me. See, in that letter, Jake tells Ruth that everything she needs to figure out where his mine is on this train. He also warns her that his wife's spirit is on the train too, which kind of creeps me out. But the thing is, to find Jake's lost mine, we need the train.
How do you know this Ruth person didn't find the mine decades ago?
Mostly because I found that letter in the wastebasket. It was like she'd gotten so ticked off, trying to follow her nutty uncle's clues, that she finally said to heck with the whole thing.
So you want me to try to figure out where the mine is?
Uh-huh. As for the other people on board, if you want to show them that letter, go ahead. It's totally up to you. We're going to Copper Gorge because that's where Jake buried Camille, so I figured his mine might be somewhere around there too. But if you think we need to go somewhere else, you just let me know and I'll have the engineer take us there.
How come you didn't try to find the mine yourself?
Maybe I did. Or maybe I just thought letting other people try to find it would be a good excuse to throw a party. I like parties.
We'll talk some more later.
Keep me posted.
Looks like a dance floor, maybe? The 3rd of November, 1901, from somewhere in Colorado. Dear Ruth, I know that we've never met, but now that your father, my estranged brother, is gone, you are my only living relative. I am writing to you to tell you about my mine before I, too, depart this earth, and its location is lost forever. I cannot tell you outright where it is, lest this epistle fall into the wrong hands, but with the information which follows, and with my train, which shall be yours upon my death, I promise that you'll be able to find it. First, you will need a map. To obtain it, know that my travels have taken me all over this great country, to towns which can be difficult to find, to Calico, Silverado, and Central City, to Dodge City, Virginia City, and Tombstone. To locate the mine on the map, you'll need my projector. When it comes to placing the stones, you'll need to ask someone who holds a warm place in my heart. I have stored his name accordingly, but to retrieve his name, you'll have to give the dolls an order. This will require looking inside Camille's dancing shoes for the name of their maker, and wearing the shoes as you perform her favorite step on the dance floor. As for my beloved Camille, she has 4 words for you, words which, when translated into numbers and used in combination, will help power my projector. But alas, she's taken them with her to her grave. So go to Copper Gorge, Colorado, and pay your respects, and let some of her goodness rub off on you. I promised Camille that this train would always be her home. In return, she promised to never leave, and indeed she never has. People say I'm crazy, but I've seen her, and heard her, and feel her presence on the train even today, 20 years after her untimely death. So above all else, my dear niece, let nothing happen to my train. It holds wonderful things. Kindest regards, Jake Hurley. I wonder if this has something to do with that list of cities Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth. Guess I'm done. Strange. All that's left is a jumble of letters. I can use this to open that grate I saw in Camille's car. Must be the projector Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth. Looks like I need to enter 8 letters into this thing. The question is, which 8 letters? Jake's mine must be somewhere on this map, but where? Wilson carbide and acetylene works. Always your friend, Thomas Wilson. Looks like a pattern for some kind of dance step. Maybe I'd better keep this. There, all done. Wonder how you're supposed to get this open. Guess Camille liked to collect dolls. Darn, the name of the shoes is so faded I can't tell what it is. Maybe Bess and George can help me figure out who made them.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece, telling her how to find his gold mine.
If Lori knows where the mine is, why doesn't she just make a beeline for it?
Because apparently Jake was too paranoid to tell his niece outright where it was. So he filled the letter with all these weird, obscure clues. I don't think Lori could make heads or tails of them. I know I barely can.
Sounds like when he lost his wife, Jake may have lost a few marbles as well.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read. But to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
Hey, I know what you can do. Take a picture of them with your cell phone, then send it to us, and we'll check them out for you.
But I thought you guys had to paint Bess's room.
Boring. Besides, we're going to have to take a break soon because we're almost out of paint.
Probably because Bess has gotten more on me than she has on the walls.
Anyway, send us a picture of the shoes via cell phone as soon as you can.
Actually, I already sent you a picture of the shoes.
Well then, hey, we're on it.
Ah, you guys are the greatest.
I know. Need anything else?
I better go.
We'll be right here.
Yeah, washing the paint out of our hair.
Hello?
Me again. Just checking to see whether you were able to find out the name of those dancing shoes yet.
Your wish is our command.
But hang on to your hat. The name is a real mouthful. The shoes were made by Chaussette Chateauyantes. Chaussetoyantes. That's French for shimmering socks. Apparently, if you were into dancing in the 1870s, that was the company to get your shoes from.
Chaussette Chateauyantes. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for letting us help.
I better go.
Let us know what happens.
Left pickaxe and lamp with buell for safekeeping. To open what's closed, lead is the key. Or is it lead is the key?
Hey, Nancy.
What's with the Cheshire Cat grin?
You found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece in which he leaves clues telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh, Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
If the engineer had any surviving relatives, we may be in luck.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlena What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her. I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it, you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her!
Show her what?
That old picture we found!
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years ago. And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
See you in a bit.
You better.
A square and a duck. Now, where have I seen those before? James Thurston.
Back already?
I think I know the name of Jake Hurley's engineer. James Thurston.
Great! What else do you know about him?
Well, nothing.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, finding out more about him will give us something to do. We'll look into it.
Talk to you later.
If you need anything, just let us know.
Sadie Crawford. It looks like there's something behind this painting, but I can't seem to move it. An eagle. Where else have I seen an eagle? That tool I saw in the caboose. I bet that's what you use to unscrew these bolts. More pipes to connect. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Were you able to find anything out about Jake's engineer, that James Thurston guy?
Good news and bad news. The good news is he had a wife in Copper Gorge, so he may have had children.
The bad news is our internet service provider stopped providing before we could use our cell phones to find out anything else.
That's okay. We can do more checking when we get to Copper Gorge.
Right.
Hey there! Welcome to Buell's Old Time Taffy House. Come on over here. Welcome, stranger. Listen, you by any chance get here on that private train what's parked out yonder?
As a matter of fact, yes, I did.
There's a rumor going around that Charlena Purcell's on board. Is that true?
As a matter of fact, yes, it is.
Hot dang if that don't beat all. I've read every single book that gal's ever written. Best writer whatever lived. Did she get off the train too?
I don't think so. She's pretty busy.
Charlena Purcell herself right here in Copper Gorge, breathing the same air as me. Hot dang! Well, welcome, little missy. Go on in and take a gander at what life was like during the heyday of Copper Gorge whilst you sample some of our delicious homemade saltwater taffy.
Sample? As in free sample?
Some taffy on a stick'll cost you 2 tokens, which you can get by winning both those games over there.
How much does it cost to play them?
Well, ain't you the little penny pincher? Fact of the matter is they're free. Less you go messing with the artifacts I got in here. Do that and you'll be headfirst in the nearest snowdrift before you know what hit you.
Where'd all these artifacts come from?
Been in the family for years. For centuries, in fact. See, Buell was my great-great-uncle. This building used to be his general store. During the glory days back in the 1880s, he commenced a pawnbrokering. So the miners Copper Gorge was crawling with back then could raise some cash to pay for grub and tools and such. But pretty soon, the mining boom went bust. And there was Uncle Buell, stuck with a whole store full of junk. Only it wasn't junk to him. Debris from lost lives and broken dreams is what he called it. Couldn't bring himself to get rid of it. So, he passed it on to his kin. My great-granddaddy's the one who come up with the idea of turning the place into a tourist attraction.
Do you by any chance have any of Jake Hurley's things in here?
Jake who?
Hurley. He was a miner. I think he may have left a lamp and a pickaxe with your great-great-uncle.
Never heard of him. Of course, that don't mean his stuff's not here. Just means you're just gonna have to look around and see for yourself. But remember, Susie Q, don't touch.
Great talking to you.
Be right here if you got any questions.
Looks like to get some taffy on a stick, I'm going to need 2 different tokens. J.H. I wonder if this used to be Jake Hurley's trunk. If this was his trunk, maybe the pickaxe and lamp that I need are inside. Something tells me I better not go in there without permission.
You still here?
Do you know what's in that old trunk over there?
Why? You ain't been fooling with it, have you?
Oh no, of course not. No, I just thought it might contain the lamp and pickaxe that I asked you about before.
Well, if it does, you can forget about him, 'cause it's locked. None of my kin have ever been able to figure out how to open it. Not even my cousin Alvin, and he went to junior college.
Would it be okay if I tried to open it?
Well, now, I certainly ain't gonna let you break it open if that's what you're getting at.
Oh no, I would never use force, believe me. But in order to try to get it open, I would have to, touch it.
Nope, sorry, not gonna happen, little missy. Unless...
Unless?
Tell you what, you get Charlene Purcell to come in here so's I can shake her hand, and I'll let you fiddle with that trunk till the cows come home.
You know what? I've got a better idea.
Now, what could be better than me coming face to face with the lady who writes the finest literature this here country's ever seen?
Well, that's just it. If you were to just meet her, you'd have nothing to show for it. Afterwards, she'd go her way and you go yours, and that would be it. But if you were to, say, get her autograph, well, then you'd have something to hang on the wall and brag about.
Okay, make it so's I can meet her and get her autograph.
Oh, but the thing is, she's on a deadline, and if you take her away from her writing, she may fall behind. And if she falls behind, her publisher may pull the plug. And if her publisher pulls the plug, it could ruin her career. Do you really want to risk ruining Charlene Purcell's career?
Good heavens, of course not. All right, you just get me Charlene's autograph, and you got a deal. Just make sure she uses my name. I want it real personal-like.
You bet. And your name is?
Fatima, with an F. None of that weirdo PH stuff.
Okay, Fatima. I'll be right back.
Yes?
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
You are, but I'm quite used to disturbances. You see, I'm writing my next book. I'm on a deadline, so until I write those two most wonderful of all three-letter words, the end, everywhere I go, my laptop goes, and every chance I get, I write.
I found Lori. She's in the caboose. You were right. She disappeared because she wanted to see which of us would find her first.
And you won. Congratulations.
I met a huge fan of yours in town who'd really, really like your autograph. An autographed picture would be even better.
Imagine that, me having fans way out here in the boonies. Well, I'm sure I have a picture around here somewhere. But what I don't have is a pen. Usually I just ask my assistant for one.
I have a pencil here somewhere.
A pencil won't do, dear. It has to be ink. See if you can borrow a pen from somebody.
Well, it's the little lady detective. What do you need?
I found Lori. She was hiding in the caboose.
Oh, yeah?
She disappeared because she wanted to see who'd find her first, which is why she left that clue behind.
That slug? I mean, I knew that slug was a clue. That's why I gave it to you. I mean, I could have found Lori no sweat, but I thought, hey, why not give somebody else a shot? And you came through. Nice job.
Thank you.
But look, from now on, if you come across anything that may have something to do with Jake Hurley in his mind, let me know, okay? Just so I can, give you advice, help you sort things out. After all, the opportunity to work side by side with a world-famous police detective doesn't come along every day, you know.
Do you by any chance have a pen I could borrow?
Why, I'm surprised at you. Don't you know that every detective should carry a pen?
Actually, I carry a pencil.
Well, as it happens, I got lots of pens. Tell you what, if you can play that Leapin' Lizards game I found over there and do better than I did when I played it, which shouldn't be that hard seeing as how smart you are, I'll give you a pen. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, the object of the game is to get rid of as many lizards as you can by jumping them with other lizards until you can't jump anymore. Last time I played, I wound up with just 5 lizards. If you can wind up with only 4, the pen's yours.
I did it! I won!
Talk about luck. Here's your pen. What else can I do for you?
It's been great talking to you.
Anything for a fellow detective.
Have you found a pen so I can autograph that picture?
I got it from Tino. You can keep it. If you could have it say, to Fatima, that'd be great.
There you go. Anything else?
I'll touch bases with you later.
My publisher thanks you.
Yes,
You startled me. Do you work here?
I do. Are you looking for someone?
Yes, Camille Hurley. She died back in the 1800s.
Ah, Camille. Beautiful crypt, wonderful view, good drainage. Whoever buried her must have loved her very much.
May I go inside it?
You may, but unfortunately you can't.
Why not?
I accidentally dropped the key down the grate that's in front of the crypt. If you can retrieve it, you can keep it. I'm having another one made. But if you do go into the crypt, just remember, you won't be alone.
Well, there's the key. I need something long and sticky. Gotcha. See you. This indentation looks familiar. In the letter he wrote to his niece, Jake said she should go to Camille's grave and let Camille's goodness rub off on her. Rub as in rubbing, maybe? If I am supposed to make rubbings of these pillars, I'll need a pencil, which I already have, and some nice thin paper.
Hey, Nancy.
There you are. We've been looking for you.
Yeah, you won't believe the lucky break we caught.
Lucky break? Hey, that was the result of good old-fashioned detective work.
It was the result of your insisting we stop for a cheeseburger.
Guys, what's going on?
Well, it turns out that a grandchild of Jake's engineer still lives around here.
What's more, he hangs out at the local diner, comes in every day.
Apparently, he's pretty ancient.
Did you talk to him?
Not yet. The thing is, the owner of the diner wouldn't agree to point the guy out unless one of us fills in for his short-order cook.
He's got to go home and wait for the cable guy or something.
And since Joe here barely knows how to boil water, guess who got the job?
Way to go, Frank.
Oh, and get this. Balducci convinced Lori that Jake's mine is somewhere right here in Copper Gorge, so he, Lori, and John Gray are hiking up the mountain out there even as we speak.
Like that bumblebrain's gonna find anything.
Sounds like now might be a good time to do some serious poking around on the train.
Good thought.
Hey, I better get going. Wish me luck.
I'll go with you. You can make me a cheeseburger.
Got that autograph?
Got something better, an autographed picture.
Hot dang! She spelled my name right and everything. Go ahead, little missy. Have a go at that trunk. Whatever's inside, it's all yours.
This indentation looks familiar. Well, here's Jake's lamp. Another slug. Could come in handy. But where's his pickaxe?
Welcome back.
Have you by any chance ever come across a pickaxe that had the initials JH carved into it?
Why?
Because it used to belong to Jake Hurley, and I really, really need it. I thought it would be in that old trunk, but it wasn't.
You got that trunk open? Wait till I tell Cousin Alvin. He thinks he's so smart. As for that pickaxe, so happens I got it upstairs in my kitchen. Use it to open the coconuts Aunt Lucy sends me every year from Hawaii.
Do you think I could have it?
Why, no, you can't have it. How would I open them coconuts?
But your great-great-uncle, do you really think Buell would approve of you using something that belonged to some poor miner to open coconuts?
Oh, okay. I'll let you have the pickaxe. After you do something for me.
Sure.
I got a bunch of taffy over there what needs sorting. Just follow the directions that are posted by the machine. Them belts get moving pretty fast, so you gotta keep your wits about you. While you're doing that, I'll fetch that pickaxe.
You got a deal.
There we go.
Wax paper for the taffy. Would you mind if I took a piece of wax paper?
Guess I could let you have a piece.
Oh, yeah.
Got that taffy sorted?
No problem. That was easy.
You sneak any freebies while you were at it?
It was pretty tempting, but nope, I sure didn't.
Well, ain't you the goody two-shoes? Truth is, wouldn't have minded too much if you had, long as you fessed up to it. Here's the pickaxe. Cracked the handle pretty bad on the last batch of coconuts. You sure you want it?
Positive.
There you go. Don't hurt yourself.
I won't. Thank you. Hello?
Hey, it's Frank. I'm in the kitchen of the diner playing short order cook.
Has that grandchild of Jake's engineer showed up yet?
Just came in with this lady who's even older than he is. And get this, he's a retired miner, so every time I finish an order and ring the pickup bell, he thinks it's the mine shaft elevator bell. And for some reason it makes him start telling his lady friend about his grandfather.
You mean you ring the bell and he starts talking about James Thurston?
Exactly. Of course, 5 seconds later, he's rambling on about something totally unrelated, but I just fill an order, ring the bell, and ding, he picks up right where he left off. That is, unless I fill the order wrong and the waitress chews me out. She's got a voice like a chainsaw. Very distracting.
Sounds like you better keep your ears open and your nose to the grindstone.
I am. Just wanted to keep you posted.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
So do you know what you want to order yet, Edna?
I'm still looking.
Did I tell you that my granddaddy was the engineer on a private train owned by one of the richest men that ever passed through Copper Gorge? Jake Hurley was his name. Yes, sir, my granddaddy was Jake's private engineer for more than 25 years. Told my daddy that men don't come any crazier than Jake Hurley, or any nicer. Treated my granddaddy real well, and told him stuff. Real important stuff. Stuff he made my granddaddy swear to never ever forget. stuff that my granddaddy told my daddy, and that my daddy told me. Why don't you get the egg salad, Edna? Eggs are back to being good for you, you know. Yes, sir, Jake Hurley told my granddaddy things he never told another living soul. Not even his wife. I tell you about her, Edna?
I don't think so.
Camille was her name. Camille Boulet. That's French, you know. Of course, she died so young that poor Jake didn't have time to tell her anything. According to my granddaddy, one summer day she had a dizzy spell and fell and hit her head. She didn't take well to the heat, see? And sometimes in the summer, when they were going through the desert, why, that train'd be just like an oven. Anyway, Granddad said she got right up afterwards and seemed okay. But a couple hours later, Jake found her in her room, dead as a doornail. Now there's another expression that kind of makes you wonder. Dead as a doornail. How can something be dead if it was never alive to begin with? The way my granddaddy died, that was kind of strange too. I ever tell you how my granddaddy died?
No, I don't think you did.
My daddy, he came home from school one day to find a railroad official telling his mom that Granddad been found dead in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada. He was in the engine of Jake Hurley's train, just kind of slumped over with his hands still on the throttle. The strange thing is, nobody else was on board the train, yet the door to the engine was locked and barred. It was like Granddad was trying to keep someone out, like he was running from something, like something finally scared him so bad his heart just stopped. Of course, he was in his 60s at the time, and back then that was old. Doesn't seem so old now, does it, Edna? Here I am, pushing 93 and still spry as it. I ever tell you about the mine my granddaddy said Jake Hurley'd found?
He found a mine?
A couple years before he died, Granddad told my daddy that Jake found a vein in the mountains somewhere and was mining it all by himself, so no one would steal it out from under him. He wouldn't even tell Granddad where the mine was. What he'd do is have Granddad drive the train real slow so he could jump off without Granddad seeing him. Then Granddad would pick him up at a prearranged spot a few days later. Oh, they didn't call him Crazy Jake Hurley for nothing. Speaking of crazy, you see how much Abner's charging for a haircut at that shop of his now? But the craziest thing Jake Hurley ever did was tell Granddad the secret to finding his mine. He made him swear to tell it to my daddy and nobody else. Eventually, my daddy, he told me, and it was so bizarre that I remember it to this day, though I sure don't understand how it had helped anybody find his mine. But since my daddy didn't tell me not to tell anybody, this is what Crazy Jake Hurley told Granddad, word for word. The eye of the tiger is fixed on a star. Zircon lies in fingers that scar. Amethyst floats in a hand from the deep. Citrine is what the foul mouth shall keep. Tourmaline by a soft arm is ensnared. Peridot rests at the foot of the mare.
The eye of the tiger is fixed on a star. Zircon lies in fingers that scar. Amethyst floats in a hand from the deep. Citrine is what the foul mouth shall keep. Tourmaline by a soft arm is ensnared. Peridot rests at the foot of the mare?
Frank, are you sure that's what he said?
I'm positive.
Are you sure that's all he said?
Look, this guy was old, okay? I mean, we're talking Jurassic. And guys that old don't joke around. They don't have time to. What you just heard is what I heard, word for word.
Got anything else?
I almost forgot. You gotta check this out.
It's just an old letter, Frank.
You bet it's an old letter. From Samuel Clemens.
Oh my gosh, where'd you get this?
I found it in the caboose.
Apparently he and Jake were pen pals.
Wish I had a famous writer for a pen pal.
When Joe gave it to me, I about flipped. I know I should turn it over to Lori, and I will, but it's just so darn cool.
I still don't see what the big deal is. I mean, it's not like it's from Mark Twain or anything. What?
See you soon.
You better.
Wisdom, charity, purity, eternity. Oh no! What I need is some duct tape. Okay, looks like that goes there. There's still water in it, which means it must be out of carbide. Carbide, just what I need to make that lamp I found work. More pipes. Why am I not surprised? That should do it. I need a spyglass.
I moved my microphones, so if you want to play the piano, knock yourself out.
Thank you. A spyglass. I'll bet it's the one I need for Jake's projector.
What's up?
Would you by any chance have any duct tape?
Got some right there in my gearbox. That's the good news. The bad news is, I can't open the box. It's an antique lockbox that I found in this abandoned monastery I scoped out on my show last year. You can open it with either the key, which I just discovered I forgot to bring with me, or the combination, which you're supposed to be able to figure out just by looking at the box. Fortunately, I didn't put anything critical in there. I've never tried to open it without the key, but if you want that duct tape, go ahead and give it a shot.
Thanks, I think I will.
If you get it open, the duct tape's all yours.
There's an image on each of those buttons. They tell a story, maybe? I bet the animals should start from the left shore. And naturally, we have still more pipes. There, that looks right. Looks like some sort of steam valve. Sounds like steam from the engine is moving through those pipes now.
Hey, how's it going?
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam! He can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing, Nance.
Unless it's to get lost.
See you in a bit.
You better.
More questions?
What else do you know about Jake Hurley? You know, the man who originally owned this train?
Wealthy, imaginative, adventurous, stubborn, egocentric, and most importantly, he was smitten at the age of 35 by a young French woman named Camille Voulet, who died about a year after they were married.
Where was he from?
East Coast, Philadelphia, I think. His parents were British aristocrats. Sometime in the 1870s, he decided to seek his fortune out west, so he had this train custom built so that he, and some years later his wife, could traverse the mountains and plains in relative comfort.
So he went west and became a miner?
All anyone knows for sure is that years after Camille's death, he showed up in Denver with a pouch full of gold nuggets and semi-precious stones, which he used to purchase mining supplies. He refused to say how he'd come by them, which of course led to speculation that he had found a fantastically rich vein somewhere, although to this day, its existence remains unsubstantiated and its location quite unknown.
I should get going.
Let me know if you run across anything juicy.
There, good as new. Oh, sorta. Whoa, looks like I did something right. There, it should work now. And we have liftoff. That's where Jake's mine is. Brimstone Canyon.
Don't you look all excited. What's up?
I think I know where Jake's mine is. Tell the engineer to head for a place in Nevada called Brimstone Canyon.
Way to go! I knew you could do it, Francie.
Not Francie, Nancy.
Here's the deal. When we get there, I'm going to make sure that you get to be the first one to check out the mine. I'll call everyone together in the dining car, and while we're in there, you slip off the train. Will 10 minutes be enough of a head start?
That'd be great.
Think of it as your reward. Of course, anything you find in the mine is, well, mine. So if I find out that you've taken something without telling me, let's just say things could get ugly.
Don't worry, you can trust me.
I have the feeling that thanks to you, we are about to discover something huge. Great job, Amy.
Thank you.
All aboard!
sounds like the train's leaving. Where's it going? Well, Frank and Joe will make sure it comes back for me. I hope. Oh, right. This is the entrance to Jake's mine. Whoa, what's going on here? Jake's color wheel seems to be pointing toward purple. Wow, glowing lizards. Cool, but weird. Wonder what that's doing there. Jake must have made those symbols. The question is, why? Another symbol. Whoa! I can't get through here. Uh-oh, there's some kind of chamber on the other side of those poles. But if I move the wrong one, the ceiling will collapse. Jake was too meticulous not to have left a clue somewhere as to how you're supposed to move them. I wonder if it has something to do with those symbols I saw before. I've seen that symbol before. Okay, so far so good. I should be able to get through there now. Jake Hurley, I presume? Camille. It figures he'd be carrying a picture of her. There's something underneath it. Looks like a letter. April 14th, 1865. Your humble friend, Abe. Oh my gosh! This is from Abraham Lincoln, and April 14th is the day he was assassinated. This letter must be worth a fortune.
That's just what I thought, too. See, what I didn't tell you when I gave you that letter Jake wrote to Ruth is that I also found his diary, which is how I found out he'd gotten to be friends with President Lincoln, and that he'd gotten a letter from Abe that he knew would be so valuable someday that he always kept it on his person. Can I have it?
Sure.
See, I knew if we could just find Jake's body, we'd find the letter. And you did it, Amy. You did it. I'm going to be famous. Good famous for once.
So you never really cared about finding Jake's mine?
Nah. I mean, it would have been nice if it was filled with gold and silver and stuff, but this is what I was really after.
And you followed me because you didn't trust me?
I trusted you to find it. I just didn't trust you to give it to me. And now that you have, You know, I'd really be famous if I could say I found this all by myself. But even if I got you to lie for me, how do I know you'd keep lying? Oh my gosh! What if there was like this cave-in and we were trapped, but I was the only one who made it out?
Excuse me?
Oh my gosh! That way I could not only say that I found the letter, but that I tried to save you. Only you did something stupid, and it was all I could do to save myself. Oh my gosh! I'd make the national news for sure, and people would say I was smart and resourceful and courageous even.
Lori, you can't be serious. That's crazy.
You don't understand. People are finally going to respect me. I have to do this. Sorry.
Lori! The opening's blocked. I'm trapped. I'd better get out of here before something else caves in. Maybe I could get out of here in this. Lori, are you all right?
Nancy! Is everything okay?
It is now.
As soon as we discovered you and Lori weren't on the train, we jumped off and hightailed it back here.
What the heck's going on?
I'm sure Lori will be glad to tell you all about it.
Darn you, Natalie!
It's Nancy. Dear Hannah, some hostess Lori Girard turned out to be. When her father heard that she'd tried to seal me up in that mine, he canceled all her credit cards and said that from now on, Lori'll have to support herself. She has yet to stop crying. Tino Balducci told reporters that he knew what Lori was up to all along and said he let Frank, Joe, and me solve the case so we amateurs could enjoy his limelight. Joe was just about to belt him when a big argument broke out between John Gray and Charlena over whether John had really recorded Camille's ghost. She started calling him a crackpot, and then he started calling her a hack. Then, well, let's just say that soon the press was no longer interested in what Tino had to say. As for Jake Hurley, it turns out that his letter from Abe Lincoln is worth a small fortune. Pretty ironic, huh? Jake spent his whole life searching for gold, when all along he possessed something far more valuable. His uncanny knack for making friends. Love, Nancy. Have you ever been to Paris, France? Well, préparez-vous, because that's where my next mystery adventure takes place. I'm going to be the assistant to Minette, a famous fashion designer. I'll be working undercover to find out why she's been acting so peculiar lately, throwing tantrums, firing people. She's even started wearing a mask for no apparent reason. Her studio is in this spooky-looking centuries-old moulin. That's French for windmill. Of course, that doesn't have anything to do with her strange behavior. Or does it? Only one way to find out. Help me solve my next case. Danger by design. À la prochaine!